10 most welcoming states in America. They actually want newcomers. People love to talk about which states you shouldn't move to. But here's the plot twist. Some parts of America are practically rolling out the welcome mat, while others are raising taxes, closing neighborhoods, and giving newcomers the side eye. These places are doing the opposite, lowering barriers, boosting opportunity, and actually inviting you in. And no, we're not talking about some empty ghost towns in the middle of nowhere. These are real, thriving communities where being the new person in town doesn't come with a suspicious stare. It comes with a smile and probably a plate of barbecue. Because here's the thing. Not every corner of the US is hostile or overcrowded. In fact, a growing number of states are quietly winning over families, retirees, and remote workers by doing something shockingly rare. Being affordable, friendly, and open for business all at once. Some even have incentives to move there, from tax perks to affordable housing to booming economies that make it easier to actually build a life instead of just surviving one. So if you're tired of being overtaxed, overpriced, or overlooked, this video is for you. Welcome to Mr. Globe, where we break down the smartest, most livable, and yes, most welcoming places in America. Hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around till the end, because your next hometown might just be waiting on this list. Number 10. Iowa. If America had a personality test, Iowa would score highest in friendliness. This is the kind of place where neighbors still wave from their porches, where a stranger will actually stop to help you jumpstart your car, and where Midwestern nice isn't just a saying, it's a lifestyle. Iowa might not make national headlines every week, but that's because it's too busy quietly winning at life. Let's start with affordability. The foundation of Iowa's warm welcome. The median home price sits comfortably around $220,000, which means newcomers can actually buy a house and still afford groceries, gas, and maybe even a weekend getaway. Small towns like Ames, Decorah, and Pella are constantly ranking among the best places to live lists, thanks to safe streets, great schools, and a genuine sense of community that feels like a throwback in the best way possible. But Iowa isn't just cornfields and casseroles. The state has been transforming into a quiet tech and agriculture hybrid, attracting innovators who love small-town living with big-time broadband. Des Moines, once written off as a sleepy insurance capital, now has a buzzing startup scene and one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country. And for remote workers, Iowa's Move to Iowa and Home Base Iowa programs make relocation more than just easy. They make it rewarding. And then there's the people. Iowans are the definition of approachable. You don't need to break in socially. Show up at a local event, and someone will probably hand you a plate of something fried and ask where you're from. It's that rare blend of sincerity and simplicity that makes life here feel uncluttered. If you're looking for a place where the welcome feels genuine, where opportunity doesn't require a cutthroat hustle, and where smiles outnumber skyscrapers, Iowa's waiting with open arms, and probably a fresh pie. In Iowa, the only thing more reliable than the harvest is the hospitality. Number 9. North Dakota. North Dakota doesn't need to shout to get attention. It just quietly thrives. Sure, it's not the first state most people daydream about moving to, but that's exactly what makes it special. The Peace Garden State has a way of sneaking up on you. One open smile, steady paycheck, and breathtaking prairie sunrise at a time. For starters, the economy here is as solid as the ground beneath it, and that's saying something for a state that struck literal gold in oil and agriculture. Thanks to booming energy and farming industries, North Dakota's unemployment rate hovers near rock bottom, around 2%, one of the lowest in the nation. That means opportunity isn't hiding behind corporate red tape. It's right out in the open, waiting for anyone willing to show up and work. But it's not just jobs that draw newcomers. It's the welcome. Cities like Fargo, Bismarck, and Grand Forks are offering relocation bonuses and housing incentives to attract skilled workers, remote professionals, and even entrepreneurs. The Find the Good Life in North Dakota program literally pays people to move there, and locals don't just tolerate newcomers, they embrace them. Community potlucks, local fairs, and neighbors who actually know your name are still very much a thing here. And yes, it gets cold. Really cold. But ask anyone who's lived there a while, and they'll tell you, The secret isn't surviving the winter, it's thriving in it. Between hockey games, cozy cafes, and snowmobile trails that could double as scenic highways, the state turns its climate into a full-season experience. North Dakotans themselves are some of the most grounded people in America. They don't brag, they don't rush, and they don't mind lending a hand, whether you're digging out of snow or just finding your footing. It's that combination of opportunity, community, and humility that makes this state quietly magnetic. So if you're looking for a place where people mean what they say, where work is steady, and where a handshake still means something, North Dakota's got space, and they're not shy about sharing it. In North Dakota, the jobs are hot, the people are warm, and the winters, well, they build character. Number 8. Georgia. Georgia doesn't just welcome newcomers, it practically waves you in with a glass of sweet tea and a job offer. This is where Southern charm shakes hands with economic growth, and the result is a state that's not just friendly, it's thriving. Whether you're drawn by the culture, the career opportunities, or the warm weather that laughs in the face of winter, Georgia has become one of the most inviting corners of America to call home. Let's start with the beating heart of it all, Atlanta. Once dubbed the city too busy to hate, it's now the city too busy not to grow. Tech companies, movie studios, and startups have turned Atlanta into one of the fastest expanding metros in the country. Yet, drive an hour in any direction and you'll find peaceful small towns like Dahlonega, Carrollton, or Madison, where the cost of living is refreshingly low and the neighbors actually know your name. It's that rare balance, where ambition and authenticity coexist in harmony. Georgia's secret weapon? Diversity. In people, landscapes, and lifestyles. You can hike the Blue Ridge Mountains in the morning, explore Savannah's cobblestone charm by afternoon, and enjoy a peach cobbler sunset by the coast. And the people? They're as warm as the climate. From Atlanta's melting pot of transplants to rural communities that still host Friday night fish fries, Georgia's social fabric is woven from generosity, tradition, and a touch of sass. Newcomers are genuinely wanted here. The state offers business incentives, low taxes, and job growth rates that consistently outpace the national average. Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, the world's busiest, keeps you connected to everywhere, but most people find that Georgia has everything they need right at home. So, if you're looking for a place where you can start fresh without starting over, Georgia's got your back, and probably a plate of biscuits too. In Georgia, opportunity's booming, the smiles are real, and the only thing cold is the sweet tea. Number 7. Oklahoma. If friendliness were a state economy, Oklahoma would be running a budget surplus. It's one of those rare places where "how y'all doing" isn't small talk. It's a genuine question. The Sooner State has quietly mastered the art of blending affordability, community spirit, and down-to-earth living in a way that makes newcomers feel like they've always belonged. Let's start with what everyone wants to hear. The cost of living. Oklahoma consistently ranks among the top 5 most affordable states in America. Housing prices hover well below the national average, with the median home costing around $190,000. And you can actually fill your gas tank without taking out a small loan. Groceries, utilities, healthcare, everything stretches further here. If financial breathing room had a zip code, it would probably start with OK. But affordability alone doesn't make a state welcoming, people do. And Oklahomans are some of the friendliest you'll ever meet. Whether you settle in Tulsa's artsy neighborhoods or Oklahoma City's booming downtown, you'll notice one thing right away. The locals don't treat newcomers like outsiders. They'll strike up a conversation at the farmer's market, wave from across the street, and probably invite you to their church, cookout, or softball league within a week. The economy's no slouch either. With a growing energy sector, manufacturing base, and remote worker incentives, Oklahoma is actively encouraging people to move in, not move on. Programs like Tulsa Remote literally pay professionals to relocate, offering cash bonuses, co-working spaces, and community events that help new residents plug right in. Culturally, the state offers a unique blend of cowboy grit and creative renaissance. Tulsa's music and art scene rivals much bigger cities, while Oklahoma City has transformed into a modern, livable hub filled with parks, breweries, and an entrepreneurial buzz that's hard to ignore. And through it all, that small-town spirit remains. proud, patriotic, and kind. If you want a place that values simplicity, sincerity, and space, both physical and emotional, Oklahoma delivers all three with a smile. It's not just a place to live, it's a place that lives up to its welcome. In Oklahoma, you come for the low costs, but you stay for the high warmth. Number 6. Arkansas. Arkansas doesn't just talk about Southern hospitality, it funds it. This is one of the few places in America where welcome home might come with a cash bonus. Thanks to programs like LifeWorks here, Arkansas literally pays remote workers to move in, offering relocation incentives, free bikes, and even membership perks to help newcomers get settled. That's not just friendly, that's strategic hospitality at its finest. Let's start with the lifestyle. Arkansas is often called the natural state, and it earns that title daily. The Ozark Mountains, Buffalo National River, and Hot Springs National Park make it a paradise for outdoor lovers. Hiking, fishing, kayaking, or just breathing air so clean, you'll wonder if your lungs have been missing out all these years. But it's not just about the scenery. It's about the peace that comes with it. Life here moves slower. Not in a stuck-in-the-past way, but in a finally catching your breath way. Financially, Arkansas is the definition of affordable freedom. The cost of living is about 15% below the U.S. average, and housing prices make big city rents look like comedy sketches. The median home price hovers around $190,000, and taxes stay refreshingly modest. That means you can actually save money, or better yet, spend it on weekend road trips, local diners, or a really good fishing rod. Culturally, Arkansas is a blend of small-town charm and big-hearted community. Whether you're exploring the art scene in Bentonville, walking the trails in Fayetteville, or enjoying a quiet evening in Mountain Home, the people here have one consistent trait: genuine kindness. They don't just tolerate newcomers, they invite them in. It's a place where strangers wave at you from their porches, and neighbors become friends before the first cup of coffee cools. And while the pace is relaxed, the opportunities aren't. Tech and remote work are growing fast thanks to major investment from companies like Walmart, Tyson, and J.B. Hunt. Yet the vibe stays unpretentious. Think innovation with a handshake instead of a suit and tie. Arkansas may not shout for attention, but that's part of its charm. It's humble, it's affordable, and it's genuinely happy to have you. We're halfway through the countdown. If you're enjoying this journey across America's friendliest states, go ahead and tap that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned. The top 5 might surprise you. And who knows, your next hometown might just be coming up next. Number 5. Kansas. Kansas often gets written off as flyover country, but that's a lazy mistake, because the Sunflower State is quietly building a reputation as one of the most inviting, affordable, and down-to-earth places to start fresh. If you're looking for genuine community, elbow room, and a break from the chaos of big city life, Kansas doesn't just open its doors. It leaves the porch light on for you. Let's start with the obvious: affordability. Kansas consistently ranks among the top 10 states with the lowest cost of living. The median home price sits comfortably around $200,000, and property taxes are reasonable enough to make homeowners in California or New York weep softly into their utility bills. Groceries, healthcare, and transportation all come in below national averages. So yes, you can live well here without needing a second job or a lottery ticket. But what really makes Kansas stand out is how actively it welcomes new residents. Rural towns across the state have launched incentive programs to attract newcomers, offering cash bonuses, free land, or even student loan repayment just for moving in and contributing to the local economy. Cities like Topeka and Marquette have made headlines for literally paying people to relocate. That's right, in Kansas, you can get paid to show up, work hard, and build a life. That's not a gimmick. That's a handshake deal with the heartland. The culture is the real cherry on top, or should we say, the extra barbecue sauce on the brisket. Kansas takes community seriously. Neighbors help each other shovel driveways, small-town diners still remember your usual, and locals greet newcomers not with suspicion, but with curiosity and kindness. The state has that rare quality of making you feel known without making you feel watched. And speaking of barbecue, Kansas City, yes, part of it's in Kansas, is practically a pilgrimage site for smoked meat enthusiasts. But beyond the food, you'll find thriving small businesses, family-owned farms, and a growing remote work community, rediscovering the joy of simple living with solid Wi-Fi and zero traffic. In Kansas, life isn't about rushing, it's about rooting. It's where people still wave when you pass by, not because they know you, but because they might soon. Number 4. Ohio. Ohio doesn't just call itself the heart of it all for branding. It's a surprisingly accurate description. Sitting squarely in the middle of the country, Ohio has a way of making people feel like they've come home, even if they've never been there before. It's one of those states that doesn't try too hard to impress. It just quietly wins you over, with affordability consistently ranks among the top 10 most affordable states in America. The median home price floats around $220,000, and you can still find charming small towns where you'll pay less for a 3-bedroom house than what a parking space costs in San Francisco. Combine that with low utility costs and cheap groceries, and suddenly, Middle America starts sounding like Smart America. But affordability isn't the whole story. Community is. Ohioans have a reputation for being approachable, polite, and proud of their hometowns. Whether you're walking through Columbus, Cleveland, or Cincinnati, you'll find locals ready to offer directions, food recommendations, or unsolicited advice on which college football team you should root for. Hint, pick carefully. This is Buckeye territory. In small towns like Granville or Yellow Springs, newcomers often say they were welcomed like long-lost neighbors. And while the rest of the country's been battling chaotic real estate and rising taxes, Ohio's been busy building stability. The job market is growing, particularly in healthcare, tech, and manufacturing, and the state is aggressively courting remote workers and entrepreneurs. Cities like Columbus have even made national lists of best places for young professionals and families, offering a blend of opportunity and community that's getting harder to find elsewhere. Culturally, Ohio surprises people. It's home to craft breweries, lakefront beaches, incredible music scenes, and world-class museums. But at its core, what really sets Ohio apart is its attitude. It's humble, hardworking, and genuinely happy to see new faces. The kind of place where outsiders stop being outsiders after the first block party or bake sale. So if you're looking for a place that balances affordability with authenticity, a state where you can build, belong, and breathe, Ohio might just be the perfect fit. Ohio proves you don't need beaches or skyscrapers to feel at home. Just good people, fair prices, and maybe a Buckeye or two. Number 3. Utah. Utah is one of those places that doesn't just greet you, it embraces you. Maybe it's the clean mountain air, maybe it's the community-driven culture, or maybe it's the fact that everyone seems to have a smile that could be featured on a tourism brochure. Whatever it is, Utah has mastered the art of being both breathtakingly beautiful and genuinely welcoming. A rare combination in today's fast-paced, fenced-in world. Let's start with the big picture. Literally, Utah's landscape looks like nature showing off. From the red rock arches of Moab to the snow-draped peaks around Park City, this state could pass for a highlight reel of planet Earth. And the best part? The people are just as impressive as the scenery. Utah consistently ranks among the friendliest and safest states in the U.S., with communities that go out of their way to include newcomers. Whether you've moved in for work, adventure, or just a slower pace of life, you'll find neighbors who show up with casseroles instead of side-eye. Economically, Utah is thriving. It's one of the few states where the economy is growing faster than the population, thanks to booming industries like tech, clean energy, and outdoor recreation. Salt Lake City has become a magnet for startups, earning the nickname Silicon Slopes, and its job market has been ranked among the strongest in the nation. The combination of opportunity and affordability makes it an ideal landing spot for professionals, families, and even retirees looking to stretch their savings without sacrificing lifestyle. But Utah's secret weapon isn't its economy, it's its community mindset. Family is central to the culture here, but that definition of family extends beyond blood. Locals have a reputation for being helpful, hospitable, and downright wholesome. They take pride in welcoming transplants. And not just because it's polite, but because community cohesion is part of Utah's DNA. People actually know their neighbors here, and block parties are still a thing. Add in a low crime rate, top-tier healthcare, and strong schools, and you've got a state that makes you feel safe, supported, and surrounded by people who actually care. Sure, you might have to adjust to early morning hikes and the occasional Utah time. Things move just a little slower here, but that's part of the charm. Utah's not just a place to live, it's a place to belong. Whether you're chasing fresh powder in the mountains, networking in the tech scene, or just enjoying the world's most scenic commute, you'll find that Utah's beauty goes far deeper than the landscape. Utah doesn't just welcome you, it hands you a mountain view, a job offer, and probably an invitation to dinner. Number 2. South Carolina. If warmth could be measured in smiles instead of temperature, South Carolina would still be one of the warmest places in America. This state doesn't just welcome newcomers, it practically waves them in with a glass of sweet tea and a front porch seat. Whether you're moving for work, retirement, or just a slower, sunnier pace of life, South Carolina has a way of making you feel like you've been part of the community all along. Let's start with the obvious. Southern hospitality isn't a myth here, it's a way of life. People hold doors, wave at passing cars, and actually mean it when they ask, "How y'all doing?" There's a friendliness here that can disarm even the most skeptical city dweller. And unlike some places where locals-only signs are written between the lines, South Carolina genuinely embraces newcomers. From retirees in Hilton Head to remote workers setting up shop in Greenville's growing downtown. Economically, the state has been on a roll. Charleston, Greenville, and Columbia have all become magnets for entrepreneurs, manufacturers, and tech workers alike. Boeing, BMW, and Volvo have major presences here, and new residents often find a perfect balance of opportunity and affordability. The cost of living sits comfortably below the national average, and the housing market, while heating up, still offers far more bang for your buck than most coastal states. You can live near the beach without needing billionaire status or a trust fund. Then there's the lifestyle, a fusion of history, hospitality, and humidity, the last one's free of charge. From Myrtle Beach's lively boardwalks to Charleston's cobblestone charm and Greenville's small-town glow, every corner of the state offers its own flavor of welcome. The food alone deserves its own zip code. Shrimp and grits, barbecue that can start arguments, and pecan pie so sweet it might qualify as a controlled substance. And let's not forget the weather. Mild winters, long summers, and plenty of sunny days to justify that move from somewhere cold and cranky. Add in low property taxes, good health care, and a rapidly growing retiree population, and you'll see why so many are trading in their snow shovels for sandals. But what really sets South Carolina apart is its sense of belonging. People here don't just live side by side, they live together. Neighborhood cookouts, church picnics, local festivals, they're not events, they're how community happens. It's the kind of place where you'll know your neighbors' names before you finish unpacking the moving truck. In South Carolina, the welcome is so genuine, you'll forget you're new and start wondering why you didn't move sooner. Number 1. Tennessee. And here we are, down to number 1. Tennessee takes the crown as America's most welcoming state, and it's not just because of its barbecue, music, or mountain views, though honestly, those don't hurt. It's because Tennessee has mastered the art of balancing progress with personality. The kind of place where opportunity hums like a country guitar and friendliness feels like it's built into the air. Let's start with the obvious draw. No state income tax. That's right, you get to keep more of what you earn, which in today's world feels like a rare act of kindness. Pair that with low property costs and a cost of living about 10% below the national average, and suddenly, moving here starts sounding less like a relocation and more like a smart financial strategy. It's one of the few places in America where you can still buy a home, enjoy city amenities, and not feel like you're signing away your next 30 years in mortgage debt. But the real reason Tennessee lands at number 1 is its people. The state's trademark Southern hospitality is the real deal. It's not just polite, it's personal. From Memphis to the Smoky Mountains, locals have a way of treating strangers like long-lost cousins. It's common to get a smile on the street, "How y'all doing?" from your barista, or an invitation to a community event before your first week's over. And unlike some fast-growing states where newcomers feel like intruders, Tennesseans don't just tolerate newcomers. They celebrate them. Cities like Chattanooga and Knoxville strike the perfect balance between big city innovation and small town comfort. They've got thriving art scenes, clean energy projects, great healthcare, and communities that still value eye contact and conversation. Nashville, of course, keeps the rhythm alive. It's booming with music, tech startups, and new residents from all over the country, all drawn by that mix of creative spirit and economic opportunity. Even outside the cities, Tennessee shines. There's a deep respect for community, faith, and family. And that foundation makes newcomers feel like they found something rare. A place that's modern, but still grounded. Whether you're raising kids, launching a business, or retiring in peace, Tennessee seems to have a spot carved out for you. So yes, the taxes are low, the views are stunning, and the biscuits are dangerously addictive. But what really makes Tennessee special is how quickly it starts to feel like home. And that wraps up our countdown of the 10 most welcoming states in America. They actually want newcomers. Whether you're dreaming of a new job, a fresh start, or just a friendlier zip code, remember, a better life might just be a move away. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more smart living insights, and tell us in the comments, which state would you call home?